2:17 a.m., the hospital lights were dim. The hallways were quiet. Too quiet. Mara pushed her cleaning cart slowly, like she did every night. They called her just the cleaner. But in less than 10 minutes, she would be accused of something that could destroy her life. The hospital slept, but it never truly rested. Machines hummed in distant rooms. Monitors beeped softly. The smell of disinfectant lingered in the air. Mara moved through the corridors with practiced precision. She wiped handrails, cleaned counters, emptied bins. Her movements were steady, careful, silent. Doctors walked past her without looking. Nurses spoke around her as if she weren't there. To them, Mara was part of the building, like the walls, the floors, the air. Her name badge hung from her uniform, but no one ever bothered to read it. Her hands were always in gloves, her face calm, almost unreadable. But inside, Mara carried a quiet weight. That night, Dr. Adrian Hale crossed the corridor with sharp steps. His white coat moved behind him like a banner. He was famous, respected, feared by some. A brilliant surgeon who had saved hundreds of lives and knew it. A nurse hurried beside him, barely keeping up. "There were 2 vials in storage an hour ago," she said nervously. "Now there is only 1. Dr. Hale stopped abruptly. Mara was cleaning nearby. He turned toward her. "You," he said sharply. Mara paused, her hands still resting on the cart. "Yes, doctor?" His eyes narrowed as he looked at her, then at her cart. "You were in the storage room earlier, weren't you?" "Yes, doctor. I clean there every night." He stepped closer, then explained to me why a vial of medicine is missing. The hallway fell silent. A security guard appeared at the end of the corridor. Mara didn't flinch. Her voice remained steady. "I don't take anything that doesn't belong to me." Dr. Hale scoffed quietly. "People like you always say that." He ordered security to search her cart. They opened every drawer, checked every bag, moved every cloth. Nothing was found, but suspicion still hung in the air. Later that night, Mara stepped outside for a short break. The cold air brushed her face. She pulled out her phone. Old, cracked, but carefully kept. On the screen was a photo of a young boy smiling, wearing a hospital bracelet. Her son, Leo. Years ago, Leo had been treated in this very hospital. His heart was fragile, their situation even more so. Mara remembered standing in these same corridors, watching wealthy families cry over minor injuries while her own son fought quietly for his life. Back then, a nurse had helped her. A small act of kindness, a moment of compassion that changed everything. Mara never forgot that. Mara went back inside and continued her work in the pediatric ward. At the end of the corridor, she stopped in front of a small room. Inside lay Sophia, a little girl alone in her bed. Her parents lived in another country. They couldn't afford to stay. Sophia needed a special medication, one not covered by insurance. Mara placed a small, carefully wrapped box beside the bed. She had bought it herself, saved money, worked extra shifts, sacrificed small comforts. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't ask for praise. She simply wanted Sophia to get better. But Dr. Hale saw her through the glass. He didn't know her story. He only saw what fit his prejudice. A cleaner, near medicine, alone. He stepped into the room abruptly. "What are you doing here?" Mara turned slowly. "Checking the room," she said quietly. His eyes fell on the box. You took it, didn't you? Mara didn't argue. She stayed silent. The hospital director arrived minutes later. Dr. Hale stood rigid, convinced of his suspicions. Mara stood calmly before them. No tears, no pleading, just quiet dignity. The director looked at her, then at the box on the table. Mara, he said, what is this? She took a breath. Mara placed a folded document on the table. Receipts, dates, proof that every box of medicine had been purchased with her own salary. The room grew quiet. Then she placed another paper beside it. Older, yellowed with time. A medical report. Her son's name was on it. Leo. At the bottom of the page, Dr. Adrian Hale's signature. He froze. Years ago, he had operated on Leo for free. A charity case. A life saved when no one else would help. He realized too late that he had almost destroyed the woman whose son he once fought to save. Mara looked at him calmly. I didn't need you to remember me, she said softly. I just needed to remember who I wanted to be. The tension slowly dissolved. Dr. Hale lowered his gaze. For the first time that night, he saw Mara, not as a cleaner, but as a person. The director thanked her quietly. Security stepped back. In Sophia's room, the little girl slept peacefully, unaware of what had happened just outside her door. That night, the hospital felt different. Not colder, not warmer, just more human. Dr. Hale stood alone in the corridor long after Mara left, staring at the polished floor beneath his feet. Somewhere down the hall, Sophia slept safely, protected by a woman the world had almost broken, but never defeated. If you want more emotional and cinematic stories like this, consider subscribing to Midnight Tales. New stories are coming soon. Some stories only happen at midnight.